So I'm going to teach you how I like to get my athletes warmed up. We generally want to follow the ramp principle, so that's R-A-M-P. We're going to raise your heart rate and body temperature. We're going to activate and mobilize problematic areas that I find on my athletes, and we're going to potentiate. So potentiate just means we're doing a ballistic movement, like mimics a movement similar to what you're going to be doing in your workout. We're activating more motor units doing that, and you should have a better lift after that. When it comes to foam rolling, some athletes really like it, some athletes don't. The research is pretty spotty on it, but I find if an athlete really enjoys something in their warm-up, I let them keep it, whether it's foam rolling their upper back or their legs. If they think it's going to help them in their workouts, it will help them with that placebo effect. So if you like foam rolling, keep it in. The first part of the sequence is raising your heart rate and your core temperature. So what I want to think about for my athletes is getting them to do a non-weight bearing form of cardio. So I like the assault bike here, rowing machine, anything where you can get your heart up that doesn't wear down your joints. What we're looking for here is about 50% of your max heart rate. To calculate your max heart rate, you generally can just take about 220 minus your age to give you your max heart rate. It's not perfect, but for most beginners, it's perfectly fine. So now that we've got your heart rate elevated, what we want to do is activate and mobilize problematic areas. The two biggest problematic areas that I find with young athletes are their upper backs, they're not mobile enough, and their lower backs and their hips, they're not stable enough. For our hip mobility and stability, I really like hip cars, controlled articulated rotations, where we're moving that hip through a full range of motion and trying to keep your lower back stable. I like those to mobilize, and then for activation, I like single leg glute bridges. So for our hip car, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get in a quadruped stance, and we're gonna be actively sending our leg back, opening up as much as you can, and abducting, and coming all the way through again, and then reverse rotation. And what we're trying to do is open up as much as you can without tilting your pelvis left or right. So we're trying to just open up, push back, open up, open up, open up, and put back all the way. You're gonna do that about 6 to 8 times, but again, if you feel like you need more time through this movement, take more time. Usually this one's tight for people as well. So after that, we wanna activate your glutes, your main hip extension muscles. And so I like to do that in a unilateral glute bridge. If I have a brand new athlete, I like them doing a bilateral glute bridge, so 2 legs at a time. And the most common thing I see with glute bridges is that people extend through their upper back and flare their rib cage instead of squeezing their abs, squeezing their butt, and pushing straight through. So if this is too easy and you feel like this is not working your glutes well, what we can do is just pick one leg up. Again, activate abs and glutes, and we're just coming all the way up, squeeze, and back down. So for the dead bug on the foam roller, we want to have your hands over your torso, so you're hugging yourself, your feet in your squat stance, and the foam roller under your tailbone and all the way up to your head. From there, we're gonna pick one foot up, extend all the way out, put the foot back in your squat stance, and alternate each side. This is much tougher than it looks, and what we're looking for is unilateral stability between your left and right sides. I'll see people either with a weak core, glute injuries, hip injuries. We'll see as they pick up one leg, they'll fall off the foam roller to one side. So what I like to do for my athletes' upper back is get them against the wall in a kneeling split stance. They're gonna use a small med ball or a basketball. And what you're gonna do is with your lead knee, you're going to hold that into the wall. That's gonna be your barometer to see if your hip is coming off the wall as well as your upper back. We're gonna have your hands together in front, and we're actively going into thoracic rotation and trying to get this, the far shoulder blade off of the wall to be flush with the wall. So we're looking back, and a good diagnostic for a tight upper back is we'll see as people come back here, their knee will come off and the ball will fall. So ideally, we're actively co-contracting adductors, opening up and coming back through. So now that we've got your upper back mobilized in both extension and rotation, I want you to activate those muscles. So one of my favorite ones is just a banded face pull. You can do this on the cable as well. It doesn't really matter to me. What I want you to think about is when you do this exercise and you're pulling towards you, I want you to pull at different angles. And I also want your abs and glute muscles, your butt muscles, to be locked in. So I'm going to squeeze your abs, squeeze your butt, and we're going to be pulling this band to your forehead, to your chin, to your chest, any problematic area. So if you find one area that's tighter or not moving as well as the others, just stay in there if you want. And if it feels good, keep moving through. After that, the warm-up gets a little bit more specific. I deal with a lot of cord athletes and jumping athletes, so I want them doing some pogo jumps, get their tendon resiliency up, and get some blood flow to their lower leg. And then we're also gonna do some deceleration drills, so some jumping and bounding, 45 degrees forwards and backwards, and we're gonna get them to do that laterally as well. So what this is doing is it's teaching them deceleration and building up their joint resiliency for their athletic demands in their sport. And finally, we're gonna potentiate the movement. So what that is we're moving a light load very quickly, and I find med balls are perfect for this. We're gonna mimic movements we're doing in the workout itself. So again, if you're doing a bench press workout, we're gonna do a lot of horizontal pressing with the med ball. If we're doing a squat workout, we can do some jumps with the med ball and some vertical throws, get that triple extension. I want this part of your workout to be very specific to your workout. So just think about your workout. If you're doing a pressing workout, get a med ball, throw it ballistically. If you're doing a squat workout, do some more dynamic jumping to get you prepped for the leg workout. And a big thing I want to get across to my young athletes with warm-ups is that they should be specific to you. So not all athletes have the same issues, and let's say you have a problematic area like your upper back or hips or ankle, we want to spend a bit more time in those areas during your warm-up to make sure you're ready to go through the movements than the other athletes. So if I say 8 to 12 reps in some of these movements and you're still not feeling good after 12 reps, add a few and you'll feel better afterwards. If you feel good from 8 on, just stop and move on. I don't want my athletes warming up for half an hour or 45 minutes. We want to do as much as we can to get you moving as well as you can, as fast as you can. These are just what work for me, but if you have a warm-up movement that works well for you, add it in wherever you see fit. Again, just try to generally follow that ramp principle to raise your core temperature, activate and mobilize problematic areas, and potentiate the movements. I'm gonna put the full warm-up in the description here so you can have it for the future. If you don't wanna do it all, you don't have to, but you'll feel better if you get through it all.